Welcome back, Shalligators. Today we're going to talk about SEX. UALITY. Sexuality. Billie Eilish has a brand new music video out and a very different look from what we've seen. And we did a video on Billie Eilish a few weeks ago when she came out with that. I think it was British Vogue cover, and she was like, body, 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 corsets, hair, heels, ba, ba, ba. And she looked like a World War II spy, like a seductress. I loved it. And we talked about how to break out of your previous mold, like how to change people's perception of you without kind of losing everyone in your life. So we talked about that. But today, Billie has dropped a new music video for her song Lost Cause, and it's sort of like the next iteration of her breakout, of her blossoming, I guess you could say. It's a sort of sleepover themed video. It's like her and her friends like writhing around and like playing Twister, and there's like cleavage and like leg. And again, this is not the Billie heretofore we've grown up with like the big baggy clothes and the whatever. So how can we learn to embrace our sexuality? How can we break out of the mold of like the good girl or the prude or the virgin or simply just the person? Maybe we don't have to be on an extreme end of the spectrum to be like, hey, I kind of want to like dial things up in one category. I want to explore something. I want to change a little bit of not only how other people see me, but most importantly, how I see myself. And there is no category that's harder to do, in which that's harder to do than our sexuality. Because, we talk about this a lot. Society wants to box women in. We're the virgin or we're the slut. We're the good girl or we're the bad girl. And we have to constantly beat back against this tide to show people, including ourselves, that no, actually, I'm a million different flavors in one. I am a million different dimensions. I am a different chick from one day to the next, and that is my right as a woman. So let's embrace it. So we're going to give you some concrete tips. I've got very easy things to do, movies to watch, music to listen to get you out of maybe where you are and to explore a little bit in terms of your sexuality. But before I get started, I think we have like literally 2 more spots for the Tulum trip. It's coming up. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see you guys there. Go ahead and click in the link in the bio if you want to join me and a whole bunch of Shalligators in Mexico, June 11th to the 17th. And the second trip, June 26th to the 2nd, July 2nd. I'm pretty sure that one's sold out, but you never know. Maybe they can fit you in. Also, if you're in a generous mood, please consider giving to my friend Thomas's GoFundMe. He's trying to raise money to deal with metastatic melanoma, which is cancer. He's 27. He's so amazing. He's one of the good guys. He really is. And we have raised already I think $2,500 for him. And so this is giving him the opportunity to choose medical treatments based on truly what's going to save his life, not based on just what he can afford, because that's not a choice we should have to make, So we can do this. Thank you so much, Shalligators, for everyone who's donated. It really means the world. Okay, let's talk Billie. So yes, Billie is sort of breaking out and she's getting, backlash and blah. But I don't think this is the thing. Billie's like a backlash. It's not coming from hot chicks. It's not coming from hot chicks. We did a video last year when Adele lost a bunch of weight. It's like, she's a body positivity traitor. Thin chicks weren't saying that, man. Only fat people were saying that who wanted Adele to stay fat. Fat, whatever. She looked fine. Who wanted her to stay fat so they felt better about themselves. There's a big toxicity in the body positivity movement. And also the what would we call it? I don't want to say the grubby positivity movement, but we're going to call it grubby positivity. Girls who see Billie dressed up and experimenting with her style, where I said before, the headline should read, "Adult woman changes her clothes." Wow, stop the presses. People who don't feel comfortable amplifying that side of their self, well, fuck, nobody else is supposed to do it. For people like that, Billie isn't a role model in terms of music or cool eccentric style. I mean, she was dressing the way nobody else was dressing. I thought that was really interesting. That was really neat. No, she is somebody who has to stay small in terms of experimentation and growth. No. She has to stay small because I'm small. So I can't have anyone else branching out either. And if they do, you know what card I'm going to play? I'm offended. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your feelings, man. Do not box in other women to the box you have boxed yourself into or other people box in, but hey, we can change that here. Don't do that to other women and dress that bullshit up as feminism. Because you know who's going to be here to call you on it? Me. I don't really care how other people choose to express themselves, their sexuality, like just whatever, man, whatever you want to do and makes you happy, great. Don't foist your version of something on me. I won't foist it on you, and we'll all be good. And I'm saying this because I know that if you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, I want to embrace my sexuality. I want to like grow out of like maybe the tomboy, the high school athlete, or just how people see me. Or again, it's not even how people see you. It's not how we see ourselves. And you don't need a reason to decide you want to explore a different side of your personality. You don't need that. You don't have to explain it to anyone. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to come from a very extreme or oppressed place. You can just be like, do you justify what you're wearing? Do you guys know why I wore this? This is all circling back. It's the dress, right? I wear this dress. If you're a longtime Shalligator, you're like, not the dress again. I wear this dress like all summer long. I got it at Nordstrom's Rack like 4 years ago for like $20. I've had it mended, I think, honestly, 10 or 11 times because it's wearing out. But I'm like, no, I love you. I love you. And you know what? I don't need to justify that to anyone. This is my point. This just makes me happy. I feel like I'm my authentic self when I wear this little dress in the summer. It means summer is here. I feel great. And it's like if other people don't like it or they're making fun of me, fuck them. Who the fuck are you? Who asked you? Who even asked you? Why do you think you get a vote in what I wear? Why are you giving people a vote in how you express yourself in a sexual manner? So we're going to get into some tips on how to deal with this. Oh, but yeah. Okay. So Billie, I want to talk about this video. It's cute. It's very like, one word kept coming to mind when I watched it was like cubs. They're just like little cubs, you know? Like I'm glad she's like branching out, but it's a very like, sort of like, it's a young form of sexual expression. You know, this isn't like Rihanna where it's like, rah! Like, she's like a sex witch, you know? Like she is like at the pinnacle of sexuality. Same with Angelina Jolie. You know, this is very like, it's cute and not, I don't want to say wholesome because I feel like that can be like, I don't mean that in like an insulting way, but it's just like it's exactly the way a young woman should be expressing herself. It's very authentic and it's very like kind of silly. And you can tell that they all sort of feel self-conscious. They're like, ooh, like this is sex. You move your body like this. And you're like, okay, but it's cute. And like, that's exactly where she should be. And I like it because it's authentic. Like that's authentic, girl. You're doing it right. And Billie's going to evolve. And I have a feeling she is going to be like a weapon when she gets older. She is going to be like a weapon of seduction. She's already got that face that's like this like smoldering smoky face. Like once she just grows into her own sexuality, oh, you better lock up your boyfriends. Like the body, yikes. I better lock someone down too. I better fake a pregnancy. Billie's coming for me. So if you're looking to expand your sexuality, let's go through some tips, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 tips, okay? First and foremost, why? Why do you want to embrace your sexuality? I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this, but it's the most important question to ask yourself. Who are you doing this for? Who are you doing this for? The right answer is, I'm doing it for myself. I want to try something new, right? The wrong answer is, I'm doing it for myself because everyone else my age is doing this. So I need to do this too. Listen. You guys know I was a virgin until I was almost 22. Like I didn't kiss anyone until I was 18. It was spin the bottle. I had a date last night and like we were talking about first kiss stories. He's like, spin the bottle? He's like, I didn't know that even happened in real life. I'm like, I know. He's like, I certainly didn't know what happened at 18. I'm like, I know that, Mark. I got it. Okay. but it's true. And it's like, listen, if someone had that reaction to me when I was like 18 and a half, like after it just happened, I would have been, it would have been my worst fear verbalized to me. That's so late. That's crazy. That's not how he meant it. That, we were just kidding around, but I would have taken it like that at a different point in my life for sure. Now I have the benefit of being older and having some objectivity. And it's like, everything was right on schedule. Everything in our lives is always right on schedule. I'm looking to buy a new house and like the timing just isn't right. The market's in a bubble. I'm like, I'm not paying an extra $300,000, $500,000 for something like just because it's like a bubble right now. And I'm not loving where I'm living. And I was getting like very like gloomy about it recently. And I'm like, you know what? Everything is on schedule. You don't need to see the schedule. You don't need to see it. God needs to see it, the universe, whoever, whatever you want to call it. That entity needs to see it. I don't need to see it. When we embark on a road trip, if I'm driving from Montana to New York, can I see New York? No, I can only see a few miles in front of me, but I trust that I'm on the right path, so I keep going. Our lives have to be like that, and certainly our sexuality has to be like that. If you're thinking, well, I gotta reform, I gotta be that sexy girl, because everyone on Instagram is that sexy girl. Everyone on Instagram is insecure as fuck. Everyone on Instagram is insecure as fuck, okay? And again, like I'm older and like I can kind of see it. It's like, I don't know who you think you're feeling, but you look really fucking insecure. Whatever your parameters are, they're acceptable. Wherever you are in this journey of sexuality, it's fine. We're going to live to be, 95? You got a lot of years of fucking ahead of you. You really do. So you don't have to start today or 6 months from now or 6 years from now. There's no rush. There is nothing less sexy than inauthenticity. Like nothing. Like Billie's video was sexy because it was authentic and it was cute. Angelina's sexy because she's authentic and smoldering. Same with Rihanna. People like Bad Baby, Cash Me Outside. Like I don't find her sexy. I mean, she's also 18, so I don't mean it like that. But it seems when she's acting sexy, it's like performance. It's like this is how she should be acting. This is what people are expecting of her. So this is what I do, It seems like it's coming from a cold-blooded standpoint where it's like she wants the feedback from it, versus like, I am just like radiating this. Like we look at someone like Selma Hayek, Monica Bellucci, these like smoldering Mediterranean women, and you're like, fuck. Like you don't think, well, how small is their waist? Do they have cellulite? You're just like, they're like these visceral, sensual queens, and it's coming from inside. It's like this overflowing lava ooze of like sex appeal, where you have someone like, I don't find Bella Thorne particularly sexy because again, I think it's very like forced. Miley Cyrus doesn't skew as sexy to me. It's very like, look at me. Do you see it? I'm sexy. It's just very like, oh my God. Okay. It seems very jarring, but I digress. So ask yourself, who is this for? Let's move on because we're assuming you all answered, it's for me. Okay. I want you to set some sort of boundary because embracing your sexuality can seem very overwhelming. And if we are not priorly very sexual, the worry is, well, I mean, I don't want to just be like a hoe, and I don't want people to be like, oh, she's like a hoe now. Like, no, we don't want to do that. And if we're not used to being sexual or engaging in sexual things, I mean, we can get taken advantage of, and we might not trust ourselves to say no in situations. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm going to have a cheat meal day if we've been on a hardcore diet. And I have been on a draconian diet for a long time, but I'm losing weight. Thank you. But I'm like, I'm going to have a cheat day. And I was nervous about it because I'm like, I don't know if I can trust myself. Am I going to have one donut and then I'm going to have 60? I don't know, And so it was helpful. I'm like, okay, you can have one great, amazing salty carb. You can have one sweet carb. You can have one sugary cocktail, whatever it was. So I'm like, okay, now I have parameters that I can work in. I have a little sort of like safety net. So I don't feel like this is just going to swallow me up and I'm going to lose myself in a completely different way. So make a boundary. I'm dating now, like I'm out in the dating scene. And my boundary is I don't sleep with people. Like I just don't. And like in the past, in my life, like, oh, yeah, I have because it's really fun. But now it's like I will make out. And this sounds silly, but it's like I will do anything on premises. Like if we're at a bar or a restaurant, I will go as far as we can go in a bar. And guess what? That's just some like, little like copping a few good feels and some kissing. And that's it. I don't go to a secondary location. No one's coming over. I'm not going over there until like I know this person, I feel comfortable and we feel bonded and stuff like that. But that's my boundary. And so I'm like, okay, then if I'm going to be a hoe, I'm still only kissing people. Who cares? I can make out with half of Montana. Fine. That feels comfortable to me. So set a boundary for yourself. And these boundaries, they're goalposts. They can keep moving. Maybe the boundary now is I'm going to change my style. I'm going to get comfortable with my body. And then we can annex in guys or girls or whatever you might want to do. But break it down. Like look at kind of where you want to go with this and break it down to manageable pieces. Segment it into like 3 chapters, I guess you could say, 3 like courses Work on the first one. Okay, now I've got this right. Now we're going to move on to the other. Okay. Again, you're going to feel more in control. And that is part of sexuality. Part of feeling good and sexy and like feminine is feeling in control. This brings me to my next point. Girl, you got to masturbate. You got to masturbate. I hate this word. Masturbate. It's so like Victorian era, insane asylum. Masturbate. But you do. You don't need to do it 24 hours a day. Don't skip work. But look, we talked before about like what guys want in bed. It's on the Flays channel. I know I need to do more Flays videos. We're going to do another Evil Week soon, so that's going to be over there. But I want to know your sex questions, okay? Tell me your sex questions. Leave them down here in the comments, and we can do some videos on this. But I did a video recently, like what guys look for in bed. Like what are considered like very bad and what's considered very good. Overwhelmingly, guys said confidence and a woman who knows what she wants. Best thing in the world. She knows what gets her off. She knows what she likes and what she doesn't. If there's like a hard and fast deal breaker, they're like, I want to know what it is. I don't want to do something she doesn't like. I certainly don't want to traumatize someone. This is a collaboration. How the hell do you think you're going to know what your parameters are if you don't know by yourself, right? Masturbation is like people who are against it. I always say people who, and not like I encounter a lot of people like this, but people are like, ew. I'm like, do you listen to music? Have you ever been to a concert? You've probably been to a concert, right? Do you expect that band getting up there, that's the first time they play that song? Like ever? They've never practiced it. They don't like fiddle around on the guitar by themselves at home. No. What? They have played before? Alone? With no audience? Wow, disgusting. Jesus hates you. You're disgusting. You're going to hell. It makes no fucking sense, dude. Sex is like anything else. You got to practice to be good at it. And okay, you can practice in real time on the stage by hooking up with a ton of people. That might not make you too happy. It's not particularly safe. It's not great for your reputation. Or you could have your own private rehearsals. So invest in some great vibrators. Your hands will do fine. Get a mirror. Look at what's going on down there. We've done videos on what guys, again, on Flays, what guys actually think about your vagina. No guys like, needs to look like a porn star and I want to look like this. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, man. They don't care. By the time they're undressing you, they're in. They're gang for whatever. It's like, sounds great. Let's do it. Because think about it. Like guys, they don't have this like big surprise reveal like we do when we hook up with a dude. I mean, we don't know if his penis is going to be big. If it's going to be a micro. If it's going to be some like situation that we're like, this is like a tube of cookie dough. We don't know. And so we still roll with it. We're like, okay, well, let's take it for a test run. See how it goes. I don't know. Let's see how it flies. Guys, they look at you, they see your body. It's like, they know basically what they're getting. So get that out of your head. But again, I digress. But I'm bringing up the solo rehearsal thing because you have to know how your body works. You have to know. We're like, no, guys should know. They don't own the equipment. How much could they possibly rehearse? How much could they possibly practice with stuff they don't own? So every time they're hooking up, they're just kind of like on a wing and a prayer. Even if they've had girlfriends for a long time or they were married or something, every woman's different. Every woman has orgasms in different ways, and someone likes her hair pulled, some likes to be choked, some doesn't like any of that stuff. Like, you have to know, because when you know, you're streamlining the sexual experience in a way that's like great. It's not like, ew, no, I don't like that. Does that feel good? I don't know. Well, are you getting close? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. And they're like, okay, it's like cooking someone dinner and they're like, maybe I'll eat it. I don't know. You could actually just throw it away or keep it. I don't know. You're like, what? Why am I still cooking? What am I doing here? What's happening? The next point. You've heard me talk about this before. The car of people who judge. The car of people who judge. When I was in high school, all the popular kids, like 2 grades above us, would literally carpool together, like Jim and Tara and Leia. And they were just like beautiful. They were just like the kings and queens of high school. And they would drive in the parking lot. One time, my best friend Diane, she's like, that's the car of people who judge. And we were like, oh. And I bring this up because to this day, when I'm considering a new business venture, posting a thirst trap, whatever it might be, when we're like, oh my God, people are going to judge me. I sat down one day and I realized it's literally, I'm thinking of those people, like those 3 people from high school who don't even follow me. And if they do, they don't care what I'm doing. But but I'm like, oh no, it's them. You have your own car of people who judge. If you get really, really granular about who you think is actually going to judge you, for me, it's not like my mom, my best friends, even the person I'm dating. It's like Kristen Howard from homeroom in 10th grade. What? It's so silly. It's so silly that it just takes the teeth out of that fear. It's like, okay. Like, and you're like, even if she is judging, if she's like, I'm judging you, like on Instagram or something, you're like, who the fuck are you, Kristen? Like, right? It just becomes so silly and ridiculous. And so that's going to dial down this basically paranoia, this spook story you've been telling yourself about why you need to stay small. People are going to judge me. Which people? Do you even care? How even likely is it? And let's say they did have a million judgments. Okay, does the world keep turning? Do you feel authentic and aligned? So fuck them. Summer dress, baby. This is my dress, and I don't care if anybody else likes it. Sorry, I'm authentic and aligned when I wear it. Cool. Next, I want you to change your style up a little bit. Clothes make the man. You know, they really do. When we feel good and dressed up and our hair's done and our makeup's on, not like you gotta be like, but when we are putting effort into our bodies, well, of course that's going to translate to us feeling more connected to our bodies, which means we're more connected to sex. Like, you can't say, oh, I'm grubby as fuck, I never wash my hair, I have no pride in how I look, but I'm super sexual. No, you're not. Nah, you're not. You don't feel that way. You don't feel that way. Because how we look is a reflection of our self-esteem. I've said this, like, my therapist was like, and he's like the best. Oh, he's so dreamy. Anyway, he's like, hair is a good indicator of mental health, because when people are very depressed or like kind of in a spiral, one of the first things they stop doing is cleaning themselves. You know, why get in the shower? What's the point? I just want to lay in bed. You can tell a lot about someone by like their hair in terms of mental health. Look at Britney Spears. Look at Miley Cyrus, you know, like it's kind of unmistakable, right? So take some pride in your appearance, even if it doesn't feel real, even if it feels phony and stupid. Hey, you're going to do this from the outside in. Usually things come from the inside out, and they will. But when we can change our appearance, studies show that mentally we are so impacted in a positive way. We can't deny this. We know this. Again, this needs to be something that's authentic to you though. This dress isn't trendy. I never dress trendy. I don't wear mom jeans. I don't wear Birkenstocks. I don't wear fucking crop tops. I dress to flatter my body, and I dress in what I like. And therefore, even if I'm like dorky looking in a bar, I am magnetic because I'm aligned and I'm like, this is me and I feel great. I feel like a clown when I dress super trendy. I'm like, who am I? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just like cosplaying as a trendy person. It feels inauthentic. It looks inauthentic. I'm divorced from who I am. It's not very sexy. So do what works for you. Work within your parameters. If you're kind of a tomboy, okay, you can still wear like athletic stuff. Maybe get a crop top. Maybe just wear a sports bra and like, oh, try branching out in the ways that feel comfortable for you at first, and then expand. This isn't like a 2004 rom-com where it's like you're just a completely different person. Move within your own parameters and then push the envelope further and further as you get more comfortable. The next thing I want you to do, cultivate an air of sensuality. My home is a very sensual place, even though it's not my favorite house right now, but like my bedroom, I posted on my Instagram, has this like Ellen von Unwerth photograph with like a naked woman like lounging as other women like serve her fruit. It's very sensual. It's very like bacchanalian. My linens are nice. I have satin sheets. I have big fluffy comforters, texture pillows, scented candles. My house always smells amazing. It's colors that complement my skin tone, right? I curate my surroundings for maximum benefit in the category that matters to me. And that's sex. I mean, it's not kids. Like, I don't have like the kid-friendly fun house. I don't fucking care. I don't have like the culinary chef house. I don't cook a lot. I got the house for hot chicks. I got the house that's like comfortable and warm. And even if it's just my friends over, it's like the blankets are nice and everything is textured. It's a very tactile place. It's taking into account all five senses at all times. My lighting is exactly perfect. So I really have cultivated a sort of sexy thing in a 360 way. And it doesn't have to happen overnight. That's okay. One way to up the sensuality of your surroundings is make them clean. No one feels sexy in a dirty, gross room. They don't. You can't feel sexy and get ready for a date in a disgusting ass bathroom. Clean your surroundings. Get rid of stuff. Simplicity is wealth. If you, like, when you think of like a very cluttered household, I don't know, I think of a poor person's household. You know, where I come from, at least in California, the wealthiest people, they had very simple homes. Like, not a bunch of tchotchkes. Oh, here's a spoon from when we went to Disney World. They don't do that shit. They don't collect that shit, you know? Here's a nice vase from when we went to someplace. Like, here's a piece of art. Like, everything's curated. There's not a lot of clutter. And I think that that's correlative with people who make a lot of money. Look at Kim Kardashian's house. We've talked about her cervix house. Everything in there looks like a cervix, but it's very like neutral. It's very peaceful because she said, she's like, I don't like a lot of visual distractions because then it makes my mind cluttered. My mind is already chaotic enough. I need just like restfulness in my surroundings, like soft shapes, clean lines. I get it. Again, it looks sort of like a contraceptive sponge everywhere, but hey, whatever floats your boat, Kim. But there is something to be said for that. So if you can't go out and completely redo your room or paint the walls or do whatever, clean it out. Clean it out. Clean out your closet. Get rid of these ratty old summer camp t-shirts and period underwear. Start from scratch. Yeah, it's got to come from inside, but your surroundings are going to help it too. When we think of sensual women, sexual women who we love, like, where do we picture them living? What do we picture them wearing? What do we picture them eating? How do we picture them moving through the world? Get some adjectives going. One thing that has been instrumental in like me appearing like sexier with guys is slowing down. Slowing down. I will never forget this. This is the John Mayer story. I was at a party and we like know some of the same people. So it was like I think it was a Christmas party. And I was wearing this dress. I don't know if I've told this story. Well, you're going to hear it again. This dress, I called it the closer. It was like this beige color and it looked sort of like skin, but it was like tight. And I mean, it was a closer. Like guys are like, oh, every time I wore it, things happened. And so I kind of saw him across the room and I saw him look at me and I felt myself like getting nervous. Just like, it's John Mayer looking at me. And I forced myself to slow my movements down. Let me show you the difference between two things. How did that read to you? What are some adjectives? Anxious, nervous, distracted, right? Now try this. Very different. Exact same movements. They were just slowed down. Now that's someone who's sensual. She's thinking about something. What's on her mind? She's a little mysterious. She's not in a rush. She's present. She's looking around. She's a little bit of a predator. I slowed down my movements. I put on lip gloss. I put it on slowly. I was like rubbing my lips together like a cracked out raven. And he came over here to me. He came over to me and he's like, I was thinking about what I was going to say to you. You have the attention of this entire room and I bet you know it, don't you? And I said, yes, I do. It's nice to meet you. So we didn't end up hooking up because he really ruined it and said he wanted to take me home and lick my butthole. It was horrifying. It was horrifying. You heard what you heard. You heard it right. I was like, what? Ghastly. Anyway, but up until that point, I mean, I didn't blow it like he blew it. So up until that point, things were going well because I slowed it down. What is sexuality? What is sensuality? It's being present, right? And presence, you're not looking at your phone, you're not looking around, where's the waiter? Oh, my dress is uncomfortable. No, people who are truly the sexiest, they're engaged. Charm is access, and access is warmth. And an easy way to do that is something as simple as eye contact. I was on a date the other night, and the guy was like so present, wasn't looking at his phone, wasn't looking at the TV, at the bar. Girls walked by. He didn't turn his head. He was focused on me. We were very engaged. We watched a movie. He was watching it. He literally watched it. And it was one of those movies like a lot of witty banter and you really have to pay attention. It was like complicated plot. He watched it all. And I was like, wow. It was very, very sexy because you think it translates to, okay, if I hook up with this person, they're going to be like focused. They're not going to be like, just sort of like going through the motions and thinking of something else and tuning out. It's like, it's going to be a real connecting experience. repulsing. But like, that's attractive. That's alluring. Who wants to be around someone in a sexual way who's like out of it, whether they're wasted on drugs or something, they're thinking about an ex, they're in their head about something and they can't get it up. It's like, oh, like save it, honey. I'll go home and put my pajamas on and watch a James Bond movie. I don't need this, right? Also incorporate some sexy books and movies. 50 Shades of Grey is silly. It's a silly goose book, but hey, it's an easy foray into something sexy. I would suggest Anais Nin. She's a writer from, I believe, the 20s or the 30s, and she was I think she was a prostitute, like a French prostitute. Maybe she wasn't. Or maybe she might have just lived in a whorehouse, but she was a writer. And so she would write about stuff that she saw, and it's like, it's so beautiful. It's so lyrical and gorgeous. It's amazing. I would also read the book The Virgin Suicides. Not exactly the feel-good novel of the year, I admit this, but it's told from the point of view of teenage boys and how they view girls, how they looked at girls. And it's very like, it's good for our self-esteem, because it's like they looked at us as these like mythical creatures, and we're like, yeah, God damn it, we are. Jeff Eugenides is a great writer. Like anything you read by him is great. But like Google like sensual writers, Watch some porn. Watch like porn for females though. Don't watch like dude porn. Ugh. There is like usually a Pornhub channel or like a tab that's like for the ladies, and it's made by women, and it's like sensual and slow and like sexier. Cultivate these things. Get your headspace right. Maybe even do a fun little book club with your friends if that's not weird. Or the guy you're dating. Hey, we're both going to read 50 Shades of Grey. We're going to pick one scene. We each get to pick a scene or even like a dialogue, and we're going to act it out. It sounds silly, and it's okay to be silly. Sexuality isn't like, it's not all this like heavy hardcore. It's fun. It's light. You're laughing. You're giggling. Oh my God, that made that sound. I put my hand in the wrong place. Ha, it's fine. That's part of bonding too. And again, that's part of being present. It's being like, hey, things happen. Doesn't matter. We're right back to it. It's okay. It's about experimentation. And if you were trying to branch out, say in like fitness or sports or something like that, you would be like, oh, there's going to be times when I like drop the barbell or like trip over myself running after the ball. Are you just going to be like, well, I quit and just walk off the field? I mean, if you do, you're kind of a clown. Like, you're not going to do that. No, you're going to be like, hey, this is just part of it. This is part of the learning experience. All right, whatever. If you're learning language, I'm going to fumble over some words. Okay. Same with sex. So give yourself that leeway and that elasticity. You're like, hey, I'm learning. Because what do we say? We never lose. We win or we learn. And last but not least, my last point. Anyone who is trying to box you in, whether they're fans or their family or their friends or whoever, fuck them. Fuck them. I don't mean literally. Don't actually have sex with them. This is an important distinction. But like, fuck people who don't want you to grow. We talk about boundaries a lot. The people who hate your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none at all. You can take the word boundaries out and you can put in whatever word you want. The people who hate your growth don't want you to grow. The people who hate your standards don't want you to have any. The people who hate your vivacity, your sexuality, they benefit from you not having that. Why? Because they're limited. Everyone's seeing things through their own filter, Your friend who has a terrible diet doesn't want you getting fit. Your friend who's a burnout with no job isn't happy for you that you got the corner office. Fuck them. That's their problem. Cut these people out. Growth, when we grow, when anything grows, what's it doing? It's taking up more space, right? There's less space around it. There's less available. That means some people got to get pushed out. Hey, there's only so much room here now. Who am I going to let in? Who's good for me? Who's encouraging this growth? Who's trying to keep me small so that they can occupy more space? Oh God. Go into things with an open eye, right? Growth that happens, it's not even just about the sexiness and the whatever. It's about culling the herd, people who aren't serving you. It's about discovering new sides of yourself. Whether you're like, oh, this was fun for a summer, but I actually don't want to have sex anymore. Like, I slept with 2 guys and that's plenty for a while. Now I want a boyfriend. Whatever your authenticity is, it's fine. Just always check in with yourself and make sure it is authentic and you are in alignment. Because like we said, sex appeal and sensuality is presence. And presence is rooted in knowing who you are, being comfortable in this body, this outfit, this environment, this date, this whatever, and watching how that magnetizes all the right people and all the right opportunities to you. I want to know your thoughts on this. Do you love the direction Billie's heading in? Do you think it's fun? Do you think she's like growing and changing? I love it. Good for her. Do whatever you want, girl. Get them out. I just wish she wasn't wearing Skims. It's like, how much beige can we wear? Anyway, I digress. We're going to be back next time, Shalligators. I will see you later. Mwah!